You have Eileen? Mrs. Adelson?
Yeah.
You're under arrest for your cell phone.
No, I don't want to give it to you. Why do I have to?
Because my attorney said not to.
Why do I have to give it to you?
This is evidence.
Evidence.
She's under arrest.
I have to go with. I have to go. I have to go.
You don't have no choice.
Let me help you out.
No, I have to stay. Please don't do this. Don't stay. You need to grab the bags.
Take the bags.
Yeah, and you need to wait outside. Okay.
My husband's almost 80 years old. He can't
Yeah,
come
I
with
can't.
me.
Please, can I help? No, you can't join me there. Oh, don't do this, please.
Please.
Oh,
Someone's got
God.
to help him get home. This is terrible. You can't do this. This is insane.
Is that okay with you?
Please, you don't have that with handcuffs on her. She's not going anywhere. Please. Please.
You have anything in your pocket?
No.
Do you have anything of value in you?
No,
Plus you have a necklace on. You
Wanna go?
can take
My-
the necklace.
Yeah, take it off. Yeah.
And the earrings.
And the earrings. They're
You are listening to the Roberta Glass True Crime Report, putting the true back in true crime. From New York City, Roberta Glass is now on the record. Okay, how is everybody? Hello, kitties. 1993. Hello, Debbie Martin. Hello, Lori. Hello, Mia Wallace. Hello, Dark Side of the Moon. Thanks for joining me. I wanted to talk with you guys today about Donna Adelson and what has been leaked out by lawyer Tim Jansen last night on STS, and that is that. And I actually, well, let's watch it together, shall we? Let's actually hear it from the horse's mouth. This is lawyer Tim Jansen. He's a Florida attorney, and he says he's gotten some secret news about a plea deal offered to Donna Adelson. Take a listen.
Mic check, Roberta strides through the static haze. True crime Gotham where the shadows play their plays.
Although I do think she's aggravated with Wendi. Yeah, go ahead, Tim.
I wanted to break this. This is something I just heard from a very good source.
Hmm.
Donna was offered a plea deal of time served if she gave up Wendi.
Wow.
And she turned it down.
I mean, does that surprise anybody? I mean, the only part that surprised me is that the state's attorney's office wants Wendi Adelson so badly, or that they feel like they don't have enough evidence with the things that they have to convict Wendi. I mean, that's what that will tell you, sadly, is they don't feel confident about their chances to convict Wendi, and they feel Wendi is the more culpable person in this than Donna Adelson. Also, it worries me, and we're going to talk a little bit about the psychology behind it. It worries me that maybe the state feels that they are not in a good position going into Donna Adelson's trial. Certainly, we've seen a lot of acquittals of guilty people lately. And juries have had decades and decades of innocence fraud media. I mean, they've consumed decades and decades, lifetime of innocence fraud documentaries I've talked about when I was a juror last year. And the first vote was, it was a child predation case. First vote was 11-1 guilty. So 11 of us, including me, thought the defendant was guilty, and one wanted to vote not guilty. And so we turned this woman, and right before we all agree, sign off on our verdict, a gentleman says, well, there's lots of wrongful convictions, but I don't think this is one of them. And I thought to myself, well, don't you think every jury is convinced to that level before they convict someone? You think that there's juries that are unsure that are convicting someone on some such serious charges? And I said, like what? Like what? Like how? Like let's go through these, because this is something that I've looked at for over a decade now, way before I had my podcast. And I go into the transcripts of these famous, because I figured the famous cases had to be better cases than the others. And one is a more obvious case of guilt than the next. Not saying that wrongful convictions never happen, just saying that I think they're very rare. But it seems like we're having more and more juries that are refusing to convict anyone. And is the state feeling like it's not a good look, or a jury isn't going to think it's a good look to convict a grandmother? This is why I say that I've always felt Donna Adelson is going to play up her age, because it's the best thing she has as far as her innocence. Hey, Wesley loves Octoberfest. Thanks for gifting 10, very generous of you, memberships. I really appreciate your support. Nice to see you. Those will be handed out in random to the chat, to the people in the chat, is my understanding. So what does this say? First, I'm not convinced that this is about protecting Donna Adelson's family members. For me, the fact that Donna Adelson turned this down is because she will never admit guilt. She will never take a plea deal. She'd rather go to prison for the rest of her life and pretend to be a victim of a criminal justice system run amok and the wild justice system they have in Tallahassee. We've heard her on Charlie Adelson's jailhouse calls blaming Tallahassee over and over again, that Charlie Adelson, with all his money and with a jury consultant, I consider him more like a used car salesman, but Innocence Project ambassador, so Josh Dubin, who I think is a total fraudster. That's my opinion of him. I mean, that guy has never met a criminal he doesn't want to free, or a criminal he doesn't think is the victim of some kind of injustice. So I think it's more about the fact that Donna Adelson, so this would have seen her do no time whatsoever. So time served. So the time she did in jail, a couple years in jail, is good enough for a murder instead of doing life. I mean, it's a pretty sweetheart deal. Now, we know Charlie Adelson was offered some kind of deal before his trial, and he turned it down, but I don't know what he was offered. It couldn't have been this sweet a deal. I mean, it tells you that they think Wendi is the mastermind behind this murder for hire of Dan Markel, Wendi Adelson's ex-husband, Dan Markel, and they also feel that they, after Donna, they don't have enough evidence to convict Wendi. That's what it tells me. But as far as Donna ever saying that she is responsible, she'd rather go to prison die in prison than admit that her family was a part of a criminal plot. And when I say her family, I'm talking about everyone but Robert Adelson. Of course, her daughter, Wendi Adelson, and her husband, Harvey Adelson, are unindicted co-conspirators in this case. She doesn't want to go home to Miami or even retire to even a non-extradition country like she was traveling to when she got arrested on a one-way ticket, and retire there and have a reputation of being a killer. And I don't think she can admit it to her. She knows she did it, but the narcissism is too strong. She's not the type. Her family has too good a name to be involved in something so evil. She'll never go down. I mean, I'm not surprised. So they could have offered her any kind of plea deal. It didn't have to involve her family members. And she never would have taken it. This is not a family that's going to accept plea deals. And this is the kind of thinking. They feel the case against them is ridiculous and thin. And I think she thinks that she's smarter than the state. Well, we all know how that turned out. Ditto, Charlie Adelson felt the same way, and we saw how that turned out for him. So I think people are confused because they know that things are on the rocks between Donna Adelson and Wendi Adelson. And how do they know that? Well, from this prison call, that this is really the call that got Donna Adelson arrested. Let's take a listen to it. So the call dropped, or Donna Adelson thought the call dropped, but it was still being recorded. So Charlie Adelson couldn't hear her, but the prison, the jail, Leon County jail recording was still going on. They could still hear her. And this is what they caught on tape. Take a listen.
I don't want to do what I want to do, but I'm not ready. I think it would be a nice way to just leave me alone and say goodbye. I am not with myself. Go to prison. He didn't do. I can't push it. I'm not that strong.
So she's saying, I'd rather go down, lie down, and end it all than live with the fact that Charlie Adelson, her son, is now serving a life sentence in prison for something he hasn't done. LOL. So very much the language of the wrongful conviction movement. They always hear he's guilty. People say I was convicted for a crime I didn't commit, and claim, or people who've had their convictions overturned, who claim they're exonerees, say I was charged with a crime they didn't commit. Very much so. Here's Todd echoing that language, but saying it's not, she's just going to lay down. That was her one option. The other option was going to fly to a non-extradition, a country without an extradition treaty with America. That's what she chose instead.
And I also know how he, in a year and a half, his body and everything just slowly started to deteriorate. I'm old. I have a life. We had a great marriage. Happy. We traveled. We lived good. I really am not unhappy. And I'm more than willing to just say goodbye and let me lie down. It's nothing painful. I just want to go to sleep. We bought our cemetery property a couple months ago. We're good. I'm good. What Wendi did this weekend, because I said something that made her feel like I had enough, and I'm not going to watch. If the trial doesn't go well, I know what I need to do. know something was wrong because we lived here 9 years. Yeah. She's never once just come over and said, I need to talk to you.
So now they're talking about Wendi. Wendy's never once come over and said, I just need to talk to you. So here is the rift between Donna and Wendi exposed.
I'm not sure. Probably. Bit more sexual.
She sat down on the couch right there. I was sitting here, and she didn't say, look, Mom, this is a horrible time for all of us. Charlie's on trial for his life. We're all aggravated. But if this is what you're thinking of, oh my God.
Well, of course she didn't sit down on the couch and say this is a terrible time for all of us, because the way this family was raised. Now, Robert Adelson talks about this, and he will be, this is the oldest son of Harvey. Whoops, sorry. I just hit with my hand the controller for the air conditioning there. Did you guys hear that? So, of course, she didn't sit down and say, this is a horrible time for all of us. So, of course, this is the way that this family, these children have been raised. And I point to the oldest son of Harvey and Donna Adelson, Robert Adelson, who removed himself from the family, exiled himself after Dan Markel's murder, after he surmised that the rest of the family was responsible for this murder for hire. He told a story about how when he got too much change as a younger person in this family, and he returned it to the cashier, they all made fun of him and called him Honest Abe. So it's very much a family of get what you, everyone is sort of out for themselves, get what you can. But the family is also like a little bit like a gang or a mafia. So they're all out for themselves, but they do see themselves as a group. So that's the way Donna and Harvey taught their children to be. Get as much as you can get, give as little as possible. Winning is everything. Money is everything. You got to be a winner in life. Just push their children to succeed. Succeeding and money is everything. Winning is everything. So of course, when it comes time for comforting the rest of your family, nowhere in sight. And Donna Adelson is in no position to talk about Wendi Adelson's insensitivity, because Donna and Harvey looked after themselves first and never attended Charlie's trial, and said if they were on the witness list for this state, and they said, we'll take the fifth if you put us up on the stand. So they didn't even attend that trial to support their son going through it. And as soon as he got convicted, they were out of there. They're like, we'll support you from a non-extradition country. Look after number one. Who cares that Charlie Adelson might need a lot of support in prison, and all he has left is his family and a few friends? We're out of here. We're on a plane. We're out of here. Maybe we'll make it. This is the great one when she goes, Dad says maybe we'll make it, but it's worth a try. It's worth a try. So
just sat there. Listen, you're suicidal. I'm going to make correction. I'm not suicidal. I'm fine. I'll see the boys tomorrow night. Yeah, Sunday night. Great. Now, am I suicidal? No. Do I want to go to sleep and not see my son? I do. Perfectly honest, I do. And we'll do it together. We'll do it together. Leave a note. They'll know when to come and get us. And we'll do it together. The boy.
It's not that she's so worried about her son in prison. It's that it's deeply shameful to have a son in prison. These, I've talked to people who knew this family, and they say this family was like always presented as the perfect family. And they promoted that image. Now they have a son who's convicted of murder. And what are they going to do? It's just furious shame. They can't handle the shame. That's what this is about. It's not like, oh, it's going to be so horrible. What a horrible life for Charlie. Is that the real Adelson family has been exposed. This is what she can't stand. So, plea deal? Plea deal? Nice try. No Adelson will ever take a plea deal.
Look, got to make a decision at some point. So after speaking to Dan this morning and knowing what they're thinking up there, I don't know if we'll make it out in time. I really don't. But Dan said, you might, or you might do all of it, get to the airport, and they'll stop. And that could happen. It could happen. I don't know, but it's worth a try. I've tried and tried and tried. I don't know what I'm doing. I've lost it, but I don't know what I'm doing. And we have to work that stuff for Roman so that people argue with that. What do you think?
So these are just auto-generated subtitles. So what they're talking about is putting things together for Roman, which was Charlie Adelson's son, their grandson, here, putting together things while they're perfectly happy with, what's so interesting is, again, which proves my point, this crime, one of the motivations for this crime was so that Donna Adelson could raise her grandchildren, have total control over her and access to her grandchildren. But the minute that she hears that she's going to be indicted by a grand jury, she wants to be nowhere near her grandchildren. She's out of there, Vietnam. I mean, they would never be able to come back, see their grandchildren, see their daughter. All these are things that they say are so hugely important to them. So hugely important that they must kill Dan Markel, Wendi Adelson's ex-husband. I mean, this will tell you that this is a crime about power and control and not about loving the grandchildren so much. So they would have, as soon as if they had gotten on that flight, Scott Radius hadn't dropped a dime on them. Is that, I don't know if that's technically correct, drop a dime, because they weren't they were going to be arrested. The rest got out after he let the state know that they were going to flee and avoid so they hadn't been indicted by the grand jury yet. I mean, the idea is, the fleeing is that they were leaving before the indictment came down and before they could get arrested. So as soon as Scott Radius dropped a dime on them, if that hadn't happened and they actually got out of there, they wouldn't have seen their grandchildren, their son, their daughter. But they're being mad at Wendi for not coming around, for protecting herself. I mean, talk about the pot calling the kettle. I mean, I point this out very often, that this is a family of every person out for themselves.
How is it more with stipulations as to who's in charge and
it's got to bonus else in a trust and there is the volume under and the trustee. And so the trustee and the guardian will be open then the trustee on
guardian leave that somebody would be watching?
Yeah, well, we want someone to take care of it. Guardian of the place. So,
I would make some effort to respond if someone's called. If she would do that, I could sit here with you and say, "Wendy, would you do that?" But I can't because I was done.
So to give you a little background, they had friends over and they were just getting everything legally ready, trusts for Roman, making sure other people took care of their property. Everything was in order. One of the things that's going to come in as evidence is Donna Adelson's list that she made to get everything closed down, basically closing down their life in Miami and getting ready for their new life, essentially as fugitives of the law, not Harvey, but Donna, in Vietnam. I mean, I went over those communications with Harvey and Scott Radius recently. You can see that they're like, we don't know where we're going. They knew where they were going, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure they had a long-term plan or an idea of where they were going to settle down. They just weren't telling anyone. But Dan Rashbaum, who would tell Charlie, and perhaps Wendi, was on a need-to-know basis. That's my feelings.
So do you tell her that I could call George?
No, I don't get it.
I don't know how to get in touch with her. So I said, let me ask George. So I said, George, I can't get in touch with her. Bonda just told me my lawyer to call her lawyer if it's about the case. And I wrote back, it's not about the case. I have Lisa. Sure. Sure. When I said, I just got off with Charlie, he's worried about you. He wants to know what, oh, because I said, yeah, we know you never ask anything about your brother, and she doesn't, and she told me it's because her lawyer said she shouldn't ask. But we found out it's not true. But we just got off the phone with him.
My attorney said no, and he asked, oh,
Was shocked that Wendi would lie. Wendi would lie to her own mother, her own old mother. She would lie. Shocking. So Wendi said, look, I just haven't been around because I can't talk to you. I can't be around you. My lawyer told me not to talk to you. She wants to remove herself as far from her family and keep herself as safe as possible. I mean, don't forget that Wendy's a lawyer.
attorney. Her attorney said,
I never told her that.
but I've never confronted him.
No.
I don't want to.
So I wrote this last night. We know you never ask anything about your brother.
So I assume that's John Lauro. But why is John Lauro discussing what he's telling his client with, I mean, even with Donna and Harvey? I mean, he shouldn't really be discussing any of that, should he?
This is 8 o'clock last night. But we just got off the phone with him, and the first thing he asked was, how's Wendi holding up? I didn't have the heart to tell him that you never called us or asked about him. I just said, we weren't up to phone calls right now. Everyone looks to protect you. I bet you've got a lot to think about. But then she...
I mean, pretty telling. I bet you got a lot to think about. Everyone protects you. And we can go back to that call. And there's an interesting part of the call. Maybe I'll go over it in a live stream soon. But in the call between one of the post-conviction calls between Charlie Adelson and Donna Adelson, Charlie Adelson talks about how he was told by Michael Weinstein, who was the great Weinstein family. His father, Michael Weinstein's father, was Wendi Adelson's godfather. He was a state senator, but told by Michael Weinstein to not say anything. Maybe Michael Weinstein tipped Charlie Adelson off that he shouldn't be talking on the phone about anything. And he says like 2 days before. It's hard to put a timeline to that exactly. But they had been told, I think, that they might be surveilled or surveillance was going on around the time of the bump. So that puts it into context, really, how loose their lips really are, what bad criminals they really are. I mean, if you're told don't talk on the phone and Donna's like, come by, well, is it Charlie's playing 20 questions. Is it the IRS? Is it someone else? And they just can't help themselves. But on one of these calls, when it asks about Wendi, you can hear Donna go, no, not about Wendi, not about Wendi. I mean, the reaction is so over the top. She protests too much. So this is what she's talking about. We all protected you and said you had no part of it. They also said that about themselves. But there are people out there that think that this family all did this murder as a gift to Wendi, as if that would ever happen in real life, as if they would give her a gift that they weren't sure she would like, that they couldn't undo. Like, oh, wait, you didn't want your ex-husband, Dan Markel, murdered? Oh, we did it as a gift to you. Oh, wait, well, we can't really return it now. Can't undo that gift. And also, they would have had to count on the fact that Wendi wouldn't turn them all in. Wendi had to be in on the planning. It is, unless you live on planet Mars. In what world would a family do this all behind someone's back, a family member's back? Just not realistic. But there are people who just think she complained a lot about it and didn't know, wasn't really part of it. Now, Harvey, I don't think was part of the planning because he's a hothead. But I think they all knew, minus Robert. They were all part of it. They all agreed at some point. And Donna took on the lion's share of the planning.
Yeah.
And Charlie.
But then I got another call from Charlie last night, and I said, just got off the phone with Charlie. He's worried about you. He wants to know why we didn't speak. I told him a lie. I said, we're only speaking with you and Jan right now. I couldn't bear to tell him the truth. Your sister never even called us, is the truth. So she says this morning, I thought she'd be racing over here last night. Yeah. Dear Mom, I know you are upset by the verdict, but the anger directed at me is not justified. I don't know how much anger is. Really don't. I'm not responsible in any way for Charlie's situation. I am not guilty because I did not do anything wrong, and I was not involved in any way with Danny's death. When I was interviewed by the police and testified in court,
Notice she says none of us were involved. Isn't this is so Wendi? Always the lawyer. I'm not guilty. I was not involved. I'm not saying Charlie wasn't. I'm not saying Charlie was wrongfully convicted. I'm not saying you aren't involved. I'm just saving myself. Not even to say, I know the truth. I know that none of us were involved. She won't even say that. Knowing that this might land in a prosecutor's lap, which it did. Always protecting number one. Always protecting number one. Hey, your latex spouse. Nice to see you. Hope you're doing well.
told the truth as I was required to do. I cannot control how the prosecutor used my statements at Charlie's trial. Again, I didn't say that. Also, as you know, my lawyer has advised me not to talk to my family or anyone else about this case. About the case, which is true. We've never done it. I followed his advice despite your disagreements with this guidance. Please do not text me about this case.
I don't think that they did talk about the case. I think they were deeply, unless it was somewhere really they were sure that they wouldn't be overheard. And even then, I think they talked about it in euphemisms and like they didn't do it. I just don't think that they can integrate that part of themselves. Does that make sense? So they're not the family. They're not the family to get involved in a murder. It's not in line with the way that they think about themselves. It's not part of their fake public persona and the fake persona that they've invented for themselves.
Anymore. Not about the case, is it? Not what I said. About her brother, and that he wants, how are you, Wendi? How's my sister holding up?
But if you're a prosecutor and you hear this tape, don't you think, oh, hey, maybe I have a shot? And all the phone calls, I've gone over this in another live stream, and there's a video about it too in the video section of my channel. I think it's called Donna and Charlie Blame Wendi, or Point the Finger at Wendi, something like that. And you can hear almost every call. It goes round and round and round and round again. Charlie Adelson blames Donna's crazy emails and Wendi's action of going by the crime scene for the reason that he got convicted, and Wendi's book. It's not his actions. It's his crazy mother's crazy emails and Wendi's impulsivity. He says at one point that she left her alibi. Then I mean, those words, we pick words because they represent things. I mean, we don't pick words randomly like Donna Adelson argues in that phone call. We just write things and we don't know what they mean. We just write them because we're not thinking. No, we pick words because out of all the different words that you could pick, when Charlie Adelson is talking about Wendi Adelson leaving, it's always she left her alibi. So they picked the TV to be her alibi, the TV repair to be her alibi. And she couldn't help herself and she left it. Of course, they would say, well, it was just a coincidence that she went by the crime scene. But why would you need an alibi for that day if you weren't part of the planning and didn't know it was going to happen? Or if you weren't even part of the planning, you just were part of the okaying of it. You were more a passive figure who okayed this, but didn't do a lot of the planning. Who just knew it was going to happen. You had to go by the crime scene because you couldn't help herself. She had to make sure it was done. They all agree in those calls. Hey, your latex spouse says T-2 weeks until Donna is going down. Yes, and she's got a hearing on this Friday, the 8th. I hope I'm right on that date, the 8th. And I know it's the 8th. It's Friday, right? The 8th. Thanks, your latex spouse. I can't wait till her trial. But I hope she's convicted. But remember, they're going up in difficulty. Every trial gets more difficult for this state. Cheryl says Donna only has herself to blame for Wendi's behavior. She created Wendi. Absolutely. The genes, the values, the Adelson values. She is the ultimate representative of the Adelson values. When it's easy for you, you lie. Like do you know what I mean? Like when things get tough, you lie to get out of it. And then they're shocked that, I find it so funny in this tape recording that they're shocked that Wendi would lie to them about her lawyer, telling her that she can't talk to them because her lawyer told her not to talk to her parents or see her parents. But not shocked enough that they didn't double check with her lawyer. Can't believe her lawyer, I assume that's John Lauro, told them that. Thanks, Cheryl.
Yeah. If you have anything further to say about the case, please go through our lawyers. Right now, I have to be singularly focused on taking care of the boys during this difficult time.
I love that thinking. The boys are everything. That's why I murdered their their father, or had their father murdered. Of course, Wendi is innocent legally until proven in a court of law, but she's an unindicted co-conspirator in this case. But what a thing, what a thing to say. I have to focus on the boys. What it really means is I have to focus on myself.
I wrote back, okay, we have no desire to speak with you about the case. I guess Dad and I are just shocked that you didn't think of coming to see us or even calling us. We are your parents. We are and have always been there for you and the boys. None of what we wrote matters about the case. That's over. I just want you to know how many times Charlie is asking about you. Not only do you not ask about us, but not one question about Charlie, right? We will need to give you some information shortly, and we need some business assistance. Please let us know if you can be of any help. I have a space here. I want to give her codes. We're going to be gone. I want her to have all this information. I have the cemetery property. I want her to see all that. I want her to have all these papers and the wills. I want her to see all this. So please let us know if you can be of any help. The other thing is the visa, which she would know about. No, I said we need some business assistance. Please let us know. If not, we'll try to find someone who can help us. This needs an immediate reply so I can start asking other people to help. And then she always gets nervous if we want to talk to her. So I wrote, don't get nervous. Again, nothing, in capital letters, nothing about the case. Just would like to show you some business stuff and personal things. If you can't do it, we must find someone who can. I hope you understand that it has nothing to do with the case. There is no more case.
Nothing to do about the case. There is no more case. Oh, Donna, spoken way too soon. Spoken way too soon. Oh, there is still a case. It's coming for you. Wow, she really thought she was going to get on that plane. They're always overly optimistic, this family, about their chances of getting away. I guess you have to be if you think you're going to get away with a murder for hire. And then they thought Charlie was coming home. Then Charlie gave all his commissary away. They thought his case was going great. And that's why they loved Dan Rashbaum, because he fed into that, saying everything was going great. Apparently, he was talking to a lot of lawyer friends and getting ideas for that case. But I don't think it's going to go well blaming Katie McManua. I'm just curious what these two prison snitches are going to say for the state. We have a just news. I just covered it last time, of a new prison snitch who I assume is going to back up a lot of what Drina Bernhardt. Hold on, let me show you her. This is a woman who was very close to Donna in jail, apparently, and has a painting, some kind of painting from Donna. Drina Bernhardt. It's in there for burglary. And then I think the other one violated their parole. The other one was a predator.
And then I wrote, by the way, you said you have to focus on the boys. Have you told them? So when I got yours before, I said to him, because I was over there last night, I said, well, I asked Wendi, but I haven't got any word from her, so did she tell the boys? And he said, she did. Now, I know Ben was very close. She was writing to Charlie all the time. So I said, how are they? Ben was very quiet. He didn't really talk much. He said, Lincoln kind of faced it and said, so he's never coming home. He's never coming back. And so he said it took him 10 minutes and he was into basketball. I said, fine. He's a child.
He's a child? Is that normal? Though, is that really normal? This worries me. Did these kids developed the callousness, or were given via DNA the callousness of the Adelson family. 10 minutes, if you're really close, he's writing Charlie in jail. And how brainwashed must they be? I mean, the refrain of the Adelson family has to be that these ambitious, I know it's the refrain of every guilty, convicted person that claims innocence, that it was a tunnel vision investigation, that they're the victims of ambitious, malicious prosecution, that it wasn't that it was such a poor investigation that they never looked at anyone else. I mean, it is going to be a horrible day if these children ever do a deep dive into this and can accept what they're reading. I mean, you need your family members. You don't want to think that the only family members who you've known and love are murderers. But if he just turned off in 10 minutes like that, said, oh, well, I'm just too much, too bad, too sad, lost my uncle 10 minutes later, it's concerning. That's not the way children are. You hear other tales of victims' family members, because I've talked to a lot of victims' family members, how they never get over it. And I don't mean to say a loss. I mean, Charlie Adelson's still alive. But having Charlie take him to a game or whatever, ever really seeing him, he's not going to visit him in North Dakota in prison, is he? Until he's much older. I don't know. I would think it would be much more awful. And the realization that your uncle just got convicted for murder. And I wonder if they get teased or by other classmates and say that your grandmother, your uncle's a murderer, your mother's a murderer. Curious. But the refrain is, we're innocent, Tallahassee is terrible. And the Markels, I'm sure they're here, lots of anti-Markel propaganda. The Markel family is terrible and wanted to put you into foster care. That lie, I'm sure they hear.
Okay, I don't want to see them miserable and upset. That's not my goal. I just want to know, how are they? So that's what I said earlier to George, because it was technical stuff that I couldn't do on the computer. I think just because we were out of it. So he's a computer tech person. So I said, can you help me with some computer stuff that I can't get done? And he was on some business calls, so that he texted me just before I can be there, maybe 5:30. Would that be good? I said yes, but if I can get stuff done, then it's no.
I told Rick we have the space in the passport.
We have the photos. We have to get them downloaded. And the other thing I don't understand, that my daughter could help me with, but we've been looking it up over and over, because things change if there is extradition from Vietnam. Because we've looked at all the places. I mean, I could go to Korea and China, but there's no extradition. But we're looking for places where there's no.
Then we could go to Korea and China. Already checked that out. We're not sure if Vietnam has changed their stance. We want to fully check that out with someone who knows all about extradition treaties, our daughter. I mean, what a damning, this is going to be so damning when they play this in court, don't you think? I can just see Donna with the headphones on now listening to this. I think she will take the stand. That's how I'm feeling now. I will be shocked if she doesn't take the stand. I can't see Donna with her need to control everything, leaving her freedom up to her lawyers. And I think it's going to go about as well as Charlie Adelson's testifying did. You know, I was listening to their jailhouse calls intensely for a little while. Over a couple days. And they had me convinced that maybe the jury might have been unfair. And then I went back and watched Charlie, and that Charlie Adelson's testimony was great. They had me brainwashed. I'd heard it so much. I was like, maybe they have a point. And I went back and I watched Charlie Adelson's testimony. It was terrible. He was so arrogant on the stand. It's like Stockholm syndrome. That's even a real thing.
Expedition. 15 minutes. Who? Really? Good. Maybe she knows about. Maybe she can look up the expedition issue before we waste our time.
Is she going to tell on you that my parents?
Is she going to tell on you, parents? Can you imagine having this talk with your friends over? Oh, just our friend who's fleeing a indictment of a grand jury for murder. Oh, yeah. Imagine what these friends are like. Just hanging out so casually, talking about how they're going to flee before the law, the long arm of the law comes down on them. Strong arm of the law? Is it the strong arm of the law? Oh my God.
My lawyer told us to do that. Okay, but if you mention it to Wendi, is Wendi going to tell somebody?
No, you tell her beforehand. I need to tell you something as an attorney who doesn't talk.
I need an attorney who doesn't talk. They're my favorite kinds. The ones that don't talk. The ones that don't talk and give me up for my murder. Curious. Does anybody remember Charlie Adelson's sentencing? Very emotional. Beautiful statement by Dan Markel's father, Phil Markel. And I knew that when it came time for Charlie Adelson to talk, that it would be all about his innocence. And that's what he did. He said, I'm just going to maintain my innocence. Not that he is innocent. He's just going to maintain his innocence. Imagine these people. I mean, the minute that I'm brought over to someone's house who's fleeing a murder charge, I'm so out the back door so fast. I so forgot something in the car and I'm speeding out the back. Long arm of the law. That's what it is. Thank you, Beverly. Strong arm of the law. Strong, long arm of the law. Thank you. Oh, Lord. I'm out the back. I'm out the back door. They're talking about non-extradition countries. I'm so out of there. Maybe, though, with our press that just seems to loves to free murderers. It seems to talk about them in the most complimentary ways. Maybe I'm a dying breed, but if I think my friend's a killer, I am out of there. I'm out of there so fast.
It has nothing to do with the case. It just has to do with Mom and I and some decisions that we have to make. Yeah, I know you want to bring her up and show her where everything is. It's a plane crash. No one's going to know where anything is.
Right. It's our stuff. We just want our stuff. I mean, they just worship money and stuff. That's the most important thing, that our stuff not go to waste. The values of this family. Is Wendi in Denver? I mean, it's ruined her reputation from being first in her class to graduating. Is it magna cum laude or summa cum laude from Brandeis? No small thing. To being a social pariah. I mean, I think she can only get jobs from friends and stuff now. Nothing about the case. We just want to show you some stuff before we flee for our murder. Oh, Lord.
Or who belongs to what. So I would like her to come up here so she could see it. I don't think that's asking too much. She can live 3 hours away. Every time she says, can you do this? Can you come here? Can you do this? Everything. How many times do we have plans that I really can't and have to cancel? Wendi needs us for this. Wendi needs us to babysit. So we've been really good nannies, and I guess our job is up. Because now the boys are older, they can go out with friends. They can do things.
See why this woman is a friend. Does anyone remember this woman's name? I used to know it. I know they have some of these friends that they mention Annie Cunningham in getting ready on the witness list for the defense. Does anybody remember these people's names who were over when this call was done? And she's like, yeah. Every time we have plans, do the Adelsons have a lot of plans? Do they have an active social life? Really? Are they still active on the social scene after while their son's on trial for a murder as the same murder they're unindicted co-conspirators in at this point?
On her own, so she doesn't need grandma and grandpa. Okay, pretty hurtful. I have one son that I don't speak with. I have one son who's close to being dead. And my daughter, whom I love, is doing this. I don't get it. I said to Harvey, I swear to God, our family was cursed. Absolutely cursed.
Our family's cursed. It's nothing we did. It's not that we decided to do a murder. It's just some rando curse. It's like a kind of viral curse that's going around, and it just landed on our family randomly. It's not like we all agreed to murder someone and sentence the family and friends and everyone who loved Dan Markel to a life sentence of grief. Not that. It's just a kind of viral curse that's going around. I don't know. I tried to mask up. I tried to use hand sanitizer, but somehow we got this curse. We picked it up somewhere. Maybe a bad toilet seat somewhere.
And I don't know how to take care of it anymore. So.
The other thing that's so funny about her crying in these calls, so she'll start sobbing or like boo-hooing. It's almost like a cartoonish boo-hoo on the phone to Charlie. Charlie Adelson will really ham it up. He's like, I was coming home. I was telling everyone I was coming home. Can't wait to drive home with you, Dan Rashbaum. Dan Rashbaum said, I'm driving you home. That's why they love Dan Rashbaum. He loved to join in on their delusions that he was going to be the one to get Charlie Adelson an acquittal. I mean, he's the one who went out and hired Josh Dubin, and he's the one who went around saying, I finally have an innocent client and all this nonsense. But she'll start boo-hooing, and then she'll think that the call is disconnected, or you can hear her change on a dime. So it'd be like, whoa, whoa, boo-hoo. And then she'll be like, oh, Charlie, you still there? You're still there? Like, she can talk with full voice. She can turn it off. So they're both kind of playing it up, this acting. Charlie's like, I really thought it would be, now my life's over, really laying it on. I really thought I was giving away my food. I couldn't wait to hug you and tell you I loved you, all this nonsense. You want to understand the Adelson family, these calls are so instructive and telling.
We're trying to be desperate. We're going to better be able to sit at a table than that chair.
I know that it is the prosecution's habit of offering plea deals before they go to trial. But it could not be true. It could be true. I think I'm using, so I put a question mark on it. But I mean, I think that whether it's offered or not, it's never going to happen. No one in this family is ever going to admit guilt. So for a plea deal, you have to admit guilt. And you can see why Katie McManaway had Charlie Adelson in her ear when she turned down that plea deal. So Katie McManaway might admit guilt had she not been so influenced by Charlie Adelson. But she's still having a hard time coming clean with it, with all of her involvement. She's still telling a little bit of the truth. So there's very few confessions that are full confessions that are 100% true. Usually criminals minimize their involvement and lie about the oddest of things. I think people like to put themselves in a criminal's mind and say, well, I would tell the whole truth if I was, but you're not the criminal. If you talk to detectives, when they are getting a confession, they expect that there will be, it's not all of the truth. It's some of the truth.
Because members of the emails up under our faces. So I have to at night shut off the sound because it doesn't stop. I'll show you what we did. A hotel because you need an address to put on the visa. Nobody knows where you are. Everybody just some address on the visa, right? Look up. Hotel.
Does anyone know when Donna Adelson figured out that this was all recorded? Oh, I'd love to be there when that happened.
Wherever it's under my position.
If there's video of Charlie Adelson's arrest, I've heard descriptions of it. He's in his underwear. He's looking crazy. And they found tons and tons of guns. There's a very vivid detail of it, but I don't think they've ever released it. If they do have, I don't think there is video of it. I think it's been described so vividly. I think we all, and animated, that I think we all think we've seen it, but it's never been released. And I'm sure people have done Freedom of Information Acts for it. I mean, anything that exists in this case, people are so interested in it that people have asked for it. Now, on another note, they are sealing everything in Donna Adelson's case. We saw another motion for the state to seal everything up. Let me show you. Okay, so I think I proved my point with this Donna tape. I don't know what's at the end here.
Not want anything there. I just want a place to put our heads down. When did it tell you what the price is, or do I have to go on to school?
yeah, they're working out sounds like they're working out their trip to Vietnam. I mean, she's going to tell a jury that she was just trying to clear her head after Charlie Adelson's divorce, but they play that, and it's so clear that the number one thing that was the most important about where they went was that it didn't have an extradition treaty with America. She could go to China, or what was it, Korea or Vietnam. Those were the places. She wasn't looking at any place that she could easily, you can still be brought back from places with a non-extradition treaty. It's just a lot more difficult to bring and more expensive. And this is what I hear, and troublesome to bring people back from it. And I think they would have gone through the trouble. So let me see. Is this it? Yeah, I think so. So this was just filed by Donna's defense. So unopposed motion. So that means that the state isn't opposing it. So this is on Donna Adelson, by and through her undersigned counsel, respectfully moves this court for an order granting the instant unopposed motion to seal transcripts of depositions. So Patricia Bird is this new snitch I talked about. So she was in Leon County, or also the other prison, the other jail where Donna was moved to recently. Jason Newland, Chris Corbett, these are all Chris Corbett's. They did the surveillance or the forensics, cell phone forensics specialist. Peck Sandberg's the FBI specialist. Jason Newland, the investigator. Patricia Bird, Joshua Turney, Brittany Adams. I have to look at who those. Dorena Bernhardt was interviewed by the state on 4 separate occasions, and transcripts were prepared for each interview. The depositions and interview concern the new investigation. The undersigned requests the court grant this motion for this, so the state is not required to release transcripts pursuant to any public record requests. So they're saying that people like me, who put in any Freedom of Information Acts to unseal it, they're not going to unseal it before trial. Don't even try. The undersigned, any journalists, etc., want to find this stuff, don't unseal it. The undersigned corresponded with the state concerning this request, and the state does not object to the granting of the motion. I certify that a copy herefore has been furnished to Georgia Kappelman and Sarah Dugan, assistant state attorneys in Tallahassee. And this is Jackie Fulford. These are Donna Adelson's lawyers, Jackie Fulford and Josh Zellman. So they're, oh, I'm not sharing. Hold on one second. Oh, I am sharing. Okay. So you get the idea. You get the idea that they're very concerned about anything concerning this investigation be leaked out. So curious. We won't know till Georgia Kappelman makes her opening statement. I would think that this element would be in her opening statement if it's true that Donna Adelson was trying to solicit favorable testimony by offering favors, money, whatever. We'll find out all the details of it starting at the end of August. So jury selection begins August 19th, and then trial. It should be a 1 or 2 week trial. So I'm looking forward to it. I will be reporting, hopefully live streaming I don't think it'll be super eventful because there's so many. I don't think we're going to know much more on the hearing on this Friday, but I will be live streaming it. All right. So that's what I have for today. If it is true, it's an interesting turn of events, but I'm not surprised. I would have bet any money, though I'm not a betting woman, that Donna would turn down any plea deal where she'd have to admit guilt. in this case. It's not about protecting Wendi. It's really about protecting her own phony persona. All right, that's what I have for today. Please hit the thumbs up on your way out, guys. Support the channel. Oh, I have some people to, oh, wait, before I go, hold on, I'm going to take a quick break. This is a fake end of the show. I'll be right back. I have a little bit more of the show to do. When we get back, as always, victim impact letters about Dan Markel, people who knew and loved Dan Markel, and a few thank yous. Don't go anywhere. I will be right back.
Mic check, Roberta strides through the static haze. True crime Gotham where the shadows play their plays. Fraudsters fold when a spotlight beams. Fact focused queen busting propaganda schemes. Glass shatter lies echoes through the streets. Standing for victims, giving voice their beats. NYC Post, truth sharp as night. Roberta exposing she's the anti-fraud light. Hard task warrior, dissecting state and defense. Twisted innocence, claims breaking pretense. Gotham's truth seeker cuts clean with the blade. Facts in the forefront, no justice gets swayed. Cold facts drip heavy, real talk unfurls. Cracking cases open like oysters with pearls. Innocence gimmicks crumble to dust in the wind. For victims, her creed, justice till the end. Headphones blazing, she drops heavy artillery. Narratives twisted, meet blunt object civility. Roberta got receipts that unravel the ploy. Exposing the lies these fraudsters deploy. Glass shatters lies, echoes through the streets. Standing for victims, giving voice their beats. NYC Post, truth sharp as night. Roberta exposing she's the anti-fraud light.
Okay, I'm back. Susan Buckland, thank you. And Jimmy for buying me a coffee. I appreciate it. Also, want to thank Tammy Shepard, Marcy Denton, M. Evans for supporting the channel via Venmo. If you want to support the channel, links are always in the description of this episode. One more thing before I go. I like to end the way I always do, with a victim impact statement. This is from the Katie McManawa and Sigfredo Garcia's trial. And it was written to the Honorable James C. Hankinson. Dan Markel and I were friends from around 1996 until his death. I've been friends with his brother-in-law since high school days, and when I moved to Toronto, I was often included in Markel Shabbat dinners and other holiday celebrations. Dan and I never lived in the same city, and we didn't see each other often, but Dan always made the effort to reach out and stay connected. I happened to meet him when I was making some decisions about a relationship and my job at the time. Dan's capacity for listening and offering sound advice was astounding. His strong values, deep connection with his Jewish identity, incredible intelligence, and dedication to his career challenged my acquiescence to my life situation vis-a-vis my career and relationship. His very presence in my life brought out my strengths. I think I could have fallen in love with him if we had lived in the same city, or as we joked, our styles of travel were similar. I am a backpacker and he is a planner. As many others have attested to, the members of the Markel family are incredibly warm and loyal. Dan's boys were the light of his life and brought great joy to his whole family. They are being deprived of their grandparents, cousins, aunts, uncles, and many friends that make up the fabric of the Markel community. I miss Danny a lot. He brought a perspective to my life that I haven't found in anyone else. I'm grateful for the time we spent together and hope this trial brings some peace to him and to his family. Sincerely, Julie Christoph, Montreal, Canada. Okay, that's what I have for today, guys. Thanks for sticking around. I'll be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. Have a great night, everyone.
Oh, Donna, what a stitch you're in. You plotted a murder 'cause you wanted to raise your daughter's kid. Tallahassee is just a stop on the way to civilization. Miami is where all the fancy people are at. The TV is a Power 5. You can't get away from that. Two-toe, tay-toe, hoo-ho, you know the guy you pay, and you can't get away from that. Oh, Donna, what a stitch you're in. You thought jail was just for the little people, but now you're so blankets with the locked up crew. You're a grandmother in lockdown, and your one-way ride to freedom you blew. What a stitch you're in. Your family are exiled from the social circles you swam in. We all know you never made that banana bread or offered to babysit for Dan, but you'll soon be making license plates and thinking